Most people think momentum is the reward for success. It isn't. Momentum is the precondition for success. If you're a creative or an entrepreneur, you've probably had this experience, right? You're working hard, you're showing up, you're doing what you're supposed to do, but nothing seems to be moving. There's no lift, no traction, no sense that the effort is compounding. And that is not a motivation problem, it's a momentum problem. Today, I want to talk with you about momentum in a really specific way, not as energy or hustle, not as excitement, but it's a structural force. And let's do it orderly. So here are 5 things to understand about momentum if you want your creative or entrepreneurial life to actually move forward. First thing is that momentum is not speed. It is direction plus continuity. The first misunderstanding is that momentum comes from moving fast. Doesn't. Sometimes it's slow. Momentum comes from direction plus continuity. You move forward quickly in the wrong direction, you still go nowhere. In my new book, Fearless Persistence, I talk about how many people confuse motion with progress and they change projects or platforms or strategies or collaborators, not because the work isn't meaningful, but because it isn't immediately rewarded. The key insight is that momentum only forms when effort stays pointed in the same direction long enough, consistently enough, for the system to recognize it. Most systems and audiences or markets or institutions, even algorithms, do not respond to novelty. They respond to consistency. So if you keep changing direction, you reset momentum to 0 every time. It's why so many talented people feel stuck. We're always beginning. We're never accumulating. Momentum requires staying visible in the same story long enough for other people to attach meaning to it. Here's the second thing. Momentum's created by constraints, not freedom. This is surprising, right? We tend to think that freedom creates momentum, but like more options or more flexibility or more openness. But in reality, constraints create momentum. Why? Because constraints reduce decision-making friction, force repetition. Repetition is how momentum forms. And when you decide, this is the format I'm working in, this is the audience I'm serving, this is the problem I'm addressing, you remove the constant drag of reinvention. In creative work, unlimited choice often leads to paralysis. In entrepreneurial work, it leads to constant pivoting before momentum has a chance to form. I actually believe that freedom means not having a choice because the way forward becomes clear, and then you're free. In Fearless Persistence, I describe persistence not as stubbornness, but as intelligent containment. You choose a container and you work inside it long enough for energy to build pressure. Momentum is pressure over time. No container, no pressure, no pressure, no movement. Here's a third thing. Momentum lives outside your head. This is critical. Most people evaluate momentum internally. How do I feel? Am I inspired? Do I feel confident? And that's the wrong measurement. Momentum is external. It lives in the responses you get back from the world. Do people start expecting your work? Do opportunities come with explanation required, right? Do doors open with fewer introductions? These are momentum signals. One of the central things is that you can't use your emotions as a reliable indicator of progress. Internal experience lags external reality. Momentum often shows up as reduced resistance and then increased excitement. And things start to feel slightly easier. People respond slightly faster. You explain yourself a little bit less because people are getting it faster. If you wait to feel momentum before you trust it, you'll miss it. You just got to go for it. Here's a fourth thing. Momentum compounds only when you protect it. Another hard truth, momentum's fragile. Once you have it, your primary job is not to accelerate, it is to protect. The biggest momentum killers are over-expansion, over-explanation, premature diversification. People get little traction and then immediately we dilute it with new projects or new directions or new audiences or new positioning. They make the mistake and they think that movement is a permission to go do more, but momentum compounds only when energy continues to flow through the same channel. There's this danger of believing in false arrival, like the moment when early signs of validation trick you into believing that the hard part's over. Hey, sorry, the hard part's never over. Momentum rewards restraint. It punishes impatience. Fifth thing is that momentum carries you through the long middle. This may be the most important point. Most creative and entrepreneurial lives are not defined by the beginning or the breakthrough. They're defined by this long middle, the stretch where effort just continues, but recognition lags. Motivation burns out here. Discipline gets brittle here. Momentum is what makes the middle survivable. When momentum exists, you are no longer asking, is this worth it every day? The system itself provides reassurance through continuity. And this is why momentum isn't optional. It's not a bonus. It's the difference between persistence that hardens you and persistence that carries you. So if you take nothing else from this conversation today, take this. Momentum is not something you wait for. It is something you build deliberately, patiently, structurally. And once it starts moving, your job is to stay out of its way. Hey, what are your experiences with momentum? Do you feel it? Do you not feel it? And when? Share them in the comments. Let's have the conversation. And if you want more thinking like this, discussion like this about creative life, entrepreneur reality, how persistence actually works underneath the surface, subscribe and follow. I'm continuing the conversation. Let's have it together.